Hello everyone, my name is Jurgen. Welcome back to the third and final ARGUS guide video. We talked about the monthly financial reports, we've talked about the annual financial summaries, and in this video we will be talking about a work in progress multi-currency setup. If you're someone who loves to travel abroad or an international student like me, using the single currency setup can be quite a mess. That's why I made the double currency version, and as you can see, it's quite similar to the single version, just with a few added features. So let's just get started. Follow along by making a copy of this template in my GitHub, README tab, check it out. So the first thing you'll notice is definitely a new menu that we haven't seen before, the system admin. And what we're gonna do is just click that, initialize monthly triggers, and it'll ask for authorization. Just click OK, and it'll show up something like this. Now it looks a little sketchy, but it's totally safe. Click Untitled Project and it'll show you this. Select all because this will be necessary to continue, and that is how you set up the system admin. What is it? I'll explain it all later because it will be relevant later. So now we'll just follow along with the usual steps. Target period, let's just say February 2026. Annual spreadsheet, we have that prepared. Last month's spreadsheet, we have that prepared as well. And as you can see in the initial balance sheet, let's wait for the data there we go. And there's a few things that you would notice that's a little different. Firstly, let's talk about the bank channel subtotals. This is just something that I put in for people who have different balances or different accounts in one bank account. So like me, I have like 3 different accounts in one bank, and this is just to check those balances. It'll be very convenient for me as well. And one thing you will notice as well is that there's 2 currencies now. For my usage, I use Canadian dollars and Indonesian rupiahs, and you can split them up like this because they are both different currencies. And one of the most important feature is this one, the drop down. And what this does is change the currencies. For example, it's in IDR right now in Indonesian rupiah. Switch it up to Canadian dollars and it will change the values first and then the symbols like that. And let's just change it back to IDR for now, and that will be important later. Let's move to the journal entries and let's just make a random transaction. Let's say February 12th, I received money, cash on hand, for working, maybe wage and salary income, working as a barista maybe. And let's say I got paid in Canadian dollars, cat on hand. And let's say, and here it automatically detects the Canadian dollars being used, and it'll show up, for example, like $100 maybe. Show up using the Canadian dollar symbol. The same goes for Indonesian rupiahs. Let's say February 13th. Let's say I spent money this time. I bought some snacks, discretionary expenses. Let's say we used cash in bank. This one. Bought some food. And click this one. Let's say Indonesian rupiah using my main bank account, and it'll automatically detect that I'm using Indonesian rupiah. Let's say 88, boom, uses Indonesian rupiah. And it'll automatically detect here in the general ledger. Now in the general ledger, all the data is in one currency. So even if it's in Canadian dollars in the journal entries or in Indonesian rupiah, it gets turned into one currency. And how you change that currency is using this drop down. Right now it's in IDR. If you want to change it to Canadian dollars, you can do that by clicking Canadian dollars, and it'll change the amounts and also the symbols. albeit it does take a while if your internet is slow, but it does work. Let's change it back to IDR for now. And also, some other changes are the subsidiary ledgers. They are now split into two, one being Canadian dollars specifically, one being Indonesian dollars, or Indonesian rupiahs specifically. And I think that is just makes it more convenient. And everything else is the same. Trial balance, financial statement, closing entries, trial balance after closing, everything looks decent. Now let's move into the annual financial summary. And same as the monthly ones, you have to initialize the triggers first. Same steps as before, you move into this one, click advanced, click untitled project. The reason why it's showing that is because my app or my system here is not verified by Google, because verification by Google takes such a long time and it's such a rigorous process that I just didn't bother. Because this is a very small project of mine, it's not something that it's gonna be big or something. Okay, so that's done. We can just move down and fill in the target period, 2026, and we can just put in the January one, put it in here, and also the February one. Oops, my bad. February one, let's refresh it. Take that and put it over here. Now, once we've done that, let's check the initial balance sheet. Everything's been updated. Let's look at the account summary, and there we go. Everything is updated as well. Now, one of my proudest features in this is the bi-directional currency sync. What that is that you can flip the currency dropdown on any sheet, monthly or annual, and the script instantly changes the currency state across the entire system. And to make that happen, we'll need to link these otherwise individual spreadsheets, and that's why we're using the system admin here, and also in the monthly one, for that specific reason. That's why we need to link them. And what that does is now, if we change this drop down into CAD, the values here change, not only here, but also, yep, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, come on, and that is 3. And it also changes the CAD in here. And that also goes vice versa. You change it to IDR here, and it also changes here as well, albeit it does take some time. There we go. And come on, there it is. So that's the most upselling thing, the best feature that I programmed. And you might notice that some of these are like kind of different. They have different values despite not having a transaction in these periods. And that is mainly because foreign exchange rates fluctuate constantly, right? So turning that into balances back and forth will naturally make small fractional variances. That's why it's a little different, but really it's not really noticeable. So that is it. All the other ones are typically the same as this. Subsidiary summary are split into 2, and everything else is the same basically. You have your notes in case you find any patterns and you want to take note of that. You can do that directly over here. So that'll basically be all I want to be talking about today. That's the last guide for now, at least. So if you want something like this for your business, it's totally free. You can find it on my GitHub. But if you want something tailored and you don't want to do it yourself, you can definitely contact me for different currencies, maybe 3 or 4 currencies you're dealing with. Or if you have maybe different accounts that aren't like this, definitely you can contact me and I can definitely get that changed for you. But if you want to do it yourself, you want to fork it, you want to get into the deep ends, by yourself, that's totally fine. It's totally free, and you can check it out on my GitHub. That'll be all for today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.